As a freight broker, claims can be a pain in the butt, especially claims with produce when there's disputes between the shipper, broker, and the carrier to determine who's truly at fault. Recently, we interviewed Doug from Produce Blue Book to get his expertise on produce claims, and I'm going to give you a quick recap in this video. Welcome back to our channel, and if you're new here, welcome to our channel. I'm Nate Cross with Freight 360, and in today's video, I'm talking to you all about produce claims. If you're new to the channel, please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification icon to make sure you stay up to date on our latest content. So what causes claims? Claims can happen for a variety of reasons, and I recommend you check out our full conversation with Doug on episode 163 of the Freight 360 podcast, either here on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. A claim happens when your customer's product does not show up in the condition that it was supposed to. It could be damaged, spoiled, or even partially missing. The majority of claims that we see in the fresh produce world are the result of spoilage. Produce can be spoiled for many different reasons. The product could have been loaded too warm, the product could have been already too old before it was loaded, it could be the wrong equipment type that was used to haul that specific produce, or the driver's temperature-controlled reefer unit could have impacted the environment inside of the trailer. The reefer unit could break down, it could run out of fuel, be turned on too late, or just be set to the wrong settings in general. In any of these situations, the receiver is going to receive that product in a condition other than what they expected, which will trigger a claim. So let's talk about inspecting the product. Now, in a perfect world, when a shipment of fresh produce is loaded onto a trailer, it is pulped before it's loaded to ensure the product's temperature is exactly where it should be. Now, pulping is a term that we use to describe the process of taking a temperature reading of the product at any point. It's usually done before loading as well as upon receipt of the good at the receiver's facility. They use a small thermometer to actually check that temperature. Now, if the product's temperature is too high or too low at the receiver will typically either reject the product or they'll accept it conditionally with the understanding that a claim may be filed after further inspection. This is where a third party, such as the USDA, can come into play. The U.S. Department of Agriculture, or USDA, they maintain regional offices with inspectors all over the U.S., and it's not uncommon for these inspectors to be actively available and working on the dock at some of these large produce receivers. Now, in the event of a claim or dispute of a produce load, a USDA inspector acts as a third party to give objective feedback as to the state and condition of the product. Their job is not to point fingers or place blame on any party involved. They just simply act as a subject matter expert and they report the condition of the product during their inspection. It's important to have a USDA inspection ordered for any produce load that has a potential claim, since their findings are extremely useful in the claims process. In addition to the USDA inspection, Blue Book can act as a neutral third party as well to help mediate this claims process. The USDA inspection only reports the status of the product at delivery, but Blue Book, they can investigate even further to find information about the product's state before and during transit. For example, a USDA inspection might report that 50% of a shipment is spoiled or damaged. They don't say who's responsible for what though. Blue Book, on the other hand, can investigate the trailer's temperature recordings before and during transit to determine additional fault. A Blue Book claims analyst might determine that the reefer unit on a trailer operated perfectly, which would lead them to believe that the product was loaded either warm or too late after harvest. In this scenario, the fault would potentially be on the shipper rather than just on the carrier. Perhaps the driver was late to delivery, but the reefer was properly maintained. Blue Book could then assign a certain percentage of the fault to the driver for being late, and the remainder would then fall on the shipper for loading the product incorrectly or at the wrong time. The entire claims process can be daunting and even more confusing if you're not an expert on these commodities. That's why it's so important to have a neutral third party, subject matter expert, help clear the fog and give objective feedback on the situation. let's look at some best practices here. Claims can be prevented by implementing some industry best practices, and we can all do our part regardless of whether you're a shipper, a broker, or a carrier. Shippers, they can ensure that the products are harvested, packaged, and stored in the proper manner before it's loaded on a truck. Pulping the product and taking pictures of the condition is also helpful to prevent unnecessary claims. Now, for drivers, it's a good idea to be present during the pulping and loading if you're allowed on the dock by that specific shipper. Most let you do that. That way, you know the condition of the product before you sign that bill of lading, accepting it, and the condition that it's in. For brokers, we can remind our drivers of the temperature and settings that need to be used for the reefer unit. Turning on a reefer unit too late or miscommunicating the temperature settings can lead to claims that otherwise could have been prevented. Now, if we all work together, we can reduce the likelihood of claims and make each of our jobs that much easier. If you're not a member of Blue Book Services, make sure to check them out at www.producebluebook.com and consider a membership with them. They're a trusted partner of us at Freight 360, and they've helped thousands in the transportation industry when it comes to dispute resolution. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.